Well, how y'all are? It's your buddy George Jones over at the Bergen Gun Range with my next installment on, hey, I got this old used gun. The old used gun I got today is this guy. The Smith & Wesson model 916 pump shotgun. Now this one is a rifle-sighted 20-inch police shotgun. It is cylinder bore, it is 3-inch chamber, it is proof tested, 12 gauge, and it says what does it say? It says Eastfield model 916, manufactured by Smith & Wesson, Springfield, Massachusetts, USA. Now let's talk about this gun for a minute. It's got kind of a checkered past to it. This gun started out as being a Noble, okay? This design started out as the Noble pump shotgun. And in the late 1960s, Noble went out of business. Well, Smith & Wesson bought up a bunch of their tooling and so forth, just to keep somebody else from getting it, I guess. Smith & Wesson had also gone through a situation where they had attempted to make a copy of the Swedish K submachine gun, the Carl Gustav Model 50 subgun, for export to Vietnam, because the Swedes had decided they didn't want to be involved in Vietnam. They wasn't going to sell the U.S. any more subguns. So Smith & Wesson started developing this design, or something similar to this design, to fill the role of a submachine gun for special operators and SEALs and so forth in Vietnam. By the time they actually got something out that they could market and send out, the war was basically over. So they were stuck with some 21,000 of these submachine guns. So then they decided, well, we're going to try again to corner the law enforcement firearms market. So they offered a deal to large departments that would buy a bunch of handguns. We'll give you, if you buy 50 handguns from us, we'll give you a 9mm submachine gun. And that was okay sometimes. You know, New York City probably wound up with 2,000 Smith & Wesson Model 76s. LA probably wound up with a couple of thousand as well. And that worked pretty good, but a lot of small departments didn't want a submachine gun. They wanted a shotgun. So Smith & Wesson started manufacturing the Noble shotgun as the Smith & Wesson 916, and they started giving it as a premium to law enforcement agencies that would purchase so many handguns from them. Along about that time, Smith & Wesson got into the law enforcement market altogether. They tried to force Wayland Light out. They started manufacturing light bars, and they didn't have pepper spray in those days, and mace. They bought the Rock Creek Chemical Weapons plant from the federal government and went to making tear gas under the Smith & Wesson name. And just tried to corner the Smith & Wesson, tried to corner the law enforcement market altogether. So that brings us to this shotgun. Now, this is a 5-shot magazine tube, 12 gauge pump shotgun. Some variations on this gun had a recall on them because the barrels were known to burst. So I'm going to test fire this gun with Walmart target loads and leave it at that. I'm not going to shoot a 12 gauge deer slug through this guy. It looks a little bit like an 870. Has the slide release back here, okay? The safety's up on top. It has a Williams style adjustable elevation and windage rear sight, and a ramp and blade on the front. The takedown for this guy is similar to a 37 Ithaca in that you twist this guy the wrong way to drive it down, and then there's a pin that goes into this trunnion right there, and that's what holds the gun together, so it's a little bit like a 37 Ithaca. Get me some ear mufflers on. We're going to shoot this thing a few times and see if it actually shoots. The loading gate arrangement kind of reminds you of a Stevens. Not easy to load. Three. Four. We're trying here. There's 5. Alright. So we pump one up in there. And here we go with no recoil pad. Alright, steel silhouette. Okay, patterned it up pretty good. Check the pies pretty good. Steel swinger. Swinging. Just swinging. Get out of there. Oh, for pity's sakes. Get out of there. There. Probably a reason why these things never were a good commercial seller. Let's load about 4 more here. Give it a try. And you know, as a giveaway to law enforcement agencies, it was fairly popular because it's a free gun they could put in the car. Didn't have to go out and buy an 870 or 37 Ithaca. You know. About all I can take of that. I don't know, commercial value of this gun is probably somewhere around $150. When they sold these things commercially on the open market, they had it also in a hunting version with a long barrel, and they weren't a very good seller, just to tell you the truth. They're not 100% reliable. They had several manufacturers' recalls on them. And finally, Smith & Wesson dropped the project altogether about 1976 and just didn't produce any more 9/16s at all. They produced a pretty good shotgun called, what was it? The Smith & Wesson 3000? Anyway, they made a updated pump shotgun that was a little bit more like an 870, and it was a little bit better shotgun, but not much. Hard to beat an 870, buddy. Well, that's about the size of it for 8. I got this old-use gun. Like, take, share, pie, commentate, and subscribe, and I'll get out there and root around the back of the truck and gun safe and gun store and the warehouse and see if I can't find something else cool to shoot. All right, then, we'll see y'all. Better push that button. That's cinematography.